world where sports take center stage, four voices rise above the noise. Welcome to the Unfiltered Sports Podcast, where raw meets real, honesty has no off-season, and nothing gets sugar-coated. Hosted by Todd, Maddie, Dominic, and Randy. This isn't just another sports talk show. It's your weekly dose of unapologetic truth, gut-busting comedy, and hard-hitting analysis. From recaps to pick'ems, we break down the game like it's 4th and inches. No filters, no excuses. Just sports the way it was meant to be. Buckle up. This is the Unfiltered Sports Podcast.
Hey, welcome in everybody to the Unfiltered Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Todd Fox, as we close out the regular season of the NFL with you, the viewers and the listeners out there. And then we get into the postseason, break them downs, plus our topics tonight, all that and more. But we're -1. One has what I had the other day, which is food poisoning, I guess. Poor Randy is on the toilet from both sides. So my apologies go out to the great one, Randy. Hope you feel better. But for now, he told us to carry on. Don't look back, fellas. And we won't look back, but we will be thinking about you. That being said, my name is Todd Fox, and the other host of the show, to, I guess, the way it's configured, below me.
Pretty much.
Great Dominic Lorenz from Catella Chronicles. How you doing, my friend?
What's up? Doing well. How we doing, fellas?
And
good, man.
Pretty good. And then to my right is the one, the only Matt.
Bitter Matt. What's up, everybody? Sorry for the delay. We know you guys stay up late in certain areas, so it's our fault. Sorry for the delay, but we are here.
Yes, we are. And we're going to be giving you guys this football stories. And we're also going to be talking about each and every game, at least touching on those, then giving a little bit more in-depth on the postseason games and quick pick'ems. And speaking of pick'ems, you know, we've all I've had sort of, you know what this feels like, guys? Who won this week?
Don't start coming over here bragging, man. You're gonna wait till the last week to start talking that stuff. Let's just get it over with already.
People need a little charity sometimes.
Come on.
Well, first let's talk about the fans real quick. So Grill Master goes 11-5. You saw the stats real quick because we have to blow through them. We're going a little like the wind here in Los Angeles. We have to blow through these really quick. But we'll take our time on this one, though.
Todd Fox rises, the chaos begins. Your name's on his list. He'll still get it wrong again. Bald.
Yeah! I won! Yes! This feels like Dominic. I'm playing Dominic's team, and he's up 30 points, and I get a garbage touchdown at the end of the game. That's what it feels like.
And it was to your fantasy player that you wanted and needed points from. It's a double bonus.
I think you were the only one with double-digit picks, right? I was 7-9. I did horrible.
I hate week 18.
Yeah, week 18 sucks in fantasy football and in real life. And, you know, winning the week finally for the first time, everyone else had multiple wins. I actually jumped Randy and put him into the butthole for the end of the season. So
it's a triple whammy.
I got just enough wins to get out of the butthole. So I'm third place for the season. Dominic, we all bow down to you. You had this locked up weeks ago. You are the champion.
I was the first round bye, people. Just
First of all,
what can I say?
Matt was a true wild card. He finished second place, and me and Randy don't really matter. So. But congratulations, fellas. It was a nice season on Pick'ems. And then I think for the year, was it Sonia won?
I think Sonia won.
Yeah, Sonia's a champion right there. So congratulations to her and everyone else on the messages. So we appreciate everybody right there. James says the impossible has happened. It has.
That man won on the literally last week. And then your football team won too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Believe that. But before we do, we're going to get into the story. We're only going to do one story, but it's going to be now hang on, because there's only two of us. We're going to try to do rapid fire.
Okay.
What I want to do is I'm going to give a list of the coaches that were fired, at least recent ones. We all know what happened in New Orleans. We all know what happened to Randy's Jets. But we're going to start in the Chicago Bears. So we're not going to mention those three teams. Basically, I just want to talk about these next three coaches, and I want to ask you guys a two-part question. Was it the right move by the team? And agree or disagree in your opinion, and give those reasons why.
Okay.
As far as the coaches. So we're going to start with the fired coaches first. So in New England, let's start with Dominique, since you are the champion. Gerard Mayo. Agree or disagree?
I'm going to disagree that he should have been fired. I think he deserved another chance. Yes, ever since Tom Brady left and Bill Belichick left, New England's not the same. We know that. They need to establish a culture. And, defense was their calling card. Defense is not their calling card anymore. And we've talked about it on the show. Their quarterback, Drake May, has had moments where he looks pretty good. And there's times where if you just put some real NFL talent pieces around him, it could maybe trend in the right direction. I would say New England is about 3 to 5 years away from maybe getting back to 500 and competing again. But again, you had 20 plus years of dominance. You're bound to have a fall off. So I'm going to say no, he did not deserve to get fired. He should have had at least one more season and a legitimate off season to try to put the pieces together and help that entire franchise.
Okay, Matt, over to you.
I agree. I think he should not have been fired. There were some games where New England actually were very competitive, even though they lost. They were very competitive and actually in the game in some aspects. But again, I disagree. Give this guy another year. Give him a shot. May look like he can progress in a couple of seasons, and he showed he has some huge upside for sure. And I'm with Dominic about next 3, maybe 5 years. Look for New England to be a little competitive, might even fight for the wild card. Who knows? But they do have some upside. I don't think he should have gotten fired.
Okay. I like both those takes. Now let's move down to Jacksonville. Doug Peterson. Start with you, Dominic.
We knew it was happening. We just didn't know when it was happening. Like I said, I thought it was going to be when they came back from Europe, or leave him on the tarmac and let him, hitchhike his way back to America. But honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think he should have been fired. I think, their GM, Trent Baalke, is the big reason why Jacksonville is in such a demise of where they are. The owner pretty much today put the GM on blast and, talked about Baalke. I think if you get a new GM, but you know what happens? New GM wants a new coach, new regime, all that stuff. But if I had a point and blame of why Jacksonville is having its problems after their, 3 or 4 years of success when they went to the AFC title game, I don't believe it's the coach's fault. And you're a sum of your parts sometimes, and you have to work with what you're with. And Trevor Lawrence was not what we've seen in the past of him this year. Travis Etienne, he's not going to pan out, I think, in Jacksonville. They got a nice wide receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. Evan Ingram is a nice tight end. I think it's the GM more so than the coach. So the coach is kind of the fall guy. Watch Doug Peterson go to another team this upcoming offseason and make it work like he had in the past.
Okay, Matt?
I'm 50-50. It's a good move. He should have been fired. I will say that. This year wasn't really that great, but he should have just resigned, if anything. He should have left himself because, to be honest with you, he wasn't a good fit for that team. You go back 4 years ago, Jacksonville was a surprise AFC, team back in the day. They were even competing in the AFC Championship. So I don't know what happened after that, but ever since then, probably Dom's right with the general manager and the decision making and stuff like that. So I think Doug should have just left on his own. I don't think he was a good fit in Jacksonville. So should he have gotten fired? Sure. But should he have left earlier? Yes.
I will say this. The reason why I'm more against the GM for Jacksonville, He was the former GM at San Francisco before John Lynch came.
Also, that's some bias right there.
So there's a little bias. I will say that. But Bulky did exactly what he did in Jacksonville, what he did in San Francisco. First couple of years, make some big signings, talk a big game, and then it just literally good, and a steep drop. There is no development and future with Bulky. It's if you want to win or be competitive for 3 years and then have a steep drop off, go get Trent Bulky. That's your guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So a little bias, but I still believe it.
Oh, I felt the bias.
Well, bias.
Just don't write his header for his resume. Next one is Antonio Pierce from Raiders.
Antonio Pierce. This is a new one that just came up. What was it? A couple hours ago. It was released. I'm 50-50 on this, and I know James will probably enter the chat at some point and maybe disagree or agree, or we'll see where he goes. Don't get me wrong. I would have given him one more year because kind of like Jacksonville, you kind of have to go with what pieces you had moving forward. And yes, the Raiders, they won 4 games at the end of the year. I think it was 4 games.
Yeah.
So they go 4-13 this year, lose a top 3 pick. You know, what the Raiders did, especially the last third of the season, they still played competitive games. They almost took out the Chiefs. They were competitive with the Chargers for most of that game this past week. And I would go back through their schedule, and they were competitive in a lot of games and not as blown out. Maybe it didn't look as bad as maybe it truly was. So the eye test and the technical test are completely different things. And as James said, Pierce was a glorified cheerleader, not a good X's and O's guy. I totally understand that. I think the Raiders have always built themselves on coaches that are like that, the glorified cheerleaders and the rah kind of guy. And it only works for such a short period of time before there's no meat and depth to that coach. Without having a quarterback and the whole Minshew, Connell issue, and Connell played okay, Aiden McConnell or Connell, I forget his last name. Whatever it is, I think you have a dynamic tight end in Brock Bowers. You could get some pieces if they want, because the Raiders, it's the Davis family. They have money. Go get a Kirk Cousins and see if you can kind of create some magic. So I would say 70-30. I agree that he was fired. I'm kind of talking myself into that now. I'll say 70% I agree that he was fired because of the rah-rah cheerleader type thing. But the Raiders are just the Raiders. It's just kind of one of those things where I'm not surprised they fired him in that case.
Okay, Matt.
I don't even think he was fit for a head coach. He's more of a defensive guy. So if they fired him and hired him as a defensive coordinator, hey, so be it. As far as a glorified cheerleader, I can see that. Assessment. I mean, when he first got there last year, he did pretty good, I guess, because he coming in fresh, raw. He talked a good game and he encouraged the players. He was more of a players coach, so he did okay for what he had. But let's keep it real. He ain't had nobody to work with, really. I mean, who was his quarterback? Minshew. You had the rookie. So like he really got a raw deal. Well, I say you should have kept him one more year and give him some players to see what he can work with, just to see. And then if he don't do anything with that, then it's him. He's the problem, and get rid of him. But I think he's more defensive-minded coach.
Yeah, play off that real quick, Matt. That's a good point because I was just talking to a friend at work because he's a big Raider fan too. And I was talking to him and I said, man, he kind of like I got on him like Jeff Saturday because I'm like, hey, man, it wasn't kind of fair. Neither one of them had playing the coaching experience, and he got the head coach job. Now, I think he did a lot better, but I feel that, like you said, Matt, he would have been better off to start his coaching career as a defensive coordinator than work his way up to a head. I think if he still wants to be a coach in the NFL, like you said, he should stick to being able to start as a linebacker coach, maybe then move into the defensive coordinator position. The only problem I see for Antonio Pierce is, man, how many guys get their dream job as their first job? He'll never be the coach of the Raiders, unfortunately. No. So if he is a coach and he turns into a Tomlin or something better, it's going to be with a Jags or somebody else. It won't be the Raiders. So with that being said, those are great takes. I want to move on to two coaches real quick before we get into the recaps.
Riley was already coming in here talking smack. Okay, Riley Chris.
But there's two coaches I want to bring up real quick, and if you guys can rapid fire on this one, Matt Dable and McDaniel from Miami. Do you guys disagree or agree?
Okay. I'm gonna let you start, though.
Okay, I'm going to say Miami's. Daniels in Miami is probably safe. I think they're going to iron out their things. They still have Tua. They have Waddle.
Well, they're keeping both. My question is, do you think it was the right move to keep them? Should they have lost their job?
Yeah. I would say keeping McDaniel is the good move. Again, Tua, Waddle, most of that system is staying in place. I know there's Tyreek Hill drama going on right now. I have a feeling Tyreek is going to stay in Miami. I think it's just okay. That's I got that little something just came up, but disrespectful. I know
disrespectful.
So I will say I think it's a good move for Miami. The Giants, kind of like Jacksonville, I think their front office is more of a problem than Dable is. Dable would be the scapegoat. So in that case, I'm going to say a mistake for the Giants because they should clean house from top to bottom. Because especially now getting a top 3 pick and maybe getting a quarterback, I don't know how that will align down based on Tennessee and Cleveland having 1-2. I would say if Dable goes, the whole system should have went. But because they're not, they're going to, do whatever they can to make themselves look good. They're going to stay. And sorry, Giants fans, it's going to be tough. But McDaniel, yes, he should stay. Dable, no, in the sense that everybody should be cut loose.
Good points, Matt.
Yeah, I kind of piggyback on Dom. McDaniels, he's safe for one more year because he hasn't really had a losing season, and then this year it was a lot of injuries. Tua was hurt for half the season, so can't really blame the coach on that. But when he's healthy, he's win about 10 to 11 games. So he's safe. He's in the safe house for probably one more year. As far as Dable, look, man, what was it, 2 years ago when they shocked the world and made the playoffs and actually won? I think they won a playoff game.
Yeah.
Shocker. Yeah. So for him to turn that team around with Daniel Jones as your goddamn quarterback, man, good God. To give your team a playoff win with Daniel Jones, I don't care who you are. You got me right there. So should he have stayed one more year? Probably, but he needs help, man. Who gets rid of Saquon Barkley for a Daniel Jones? And you see what happened. So
that's what I'm saying.
The general manager, whoever's at the top, man, you got to cut loose with them because I feel like they're sabotaging Daboll. Because when he first came in, like I said, he was a good coach. I was shocked. I have to give the Giants credit. He turned that team around, and they shocked the world. Since then, I don't know what the heck happened.
What's worse is that whole Saquon thing with the front office was captured on Hard Knocks. That makes it worse. Worse. You can't lie and say, "Oh, we didn't have internal discussions" or what.
It was there. Yeah.
Like the Giants GM's son, who immediately said, "Go get Jaden Daniels." Nobody else. He's smarter than his father.
Exactly.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly. And for them to dude, when they draft Daniel Jones, I still remember my reaction to that day. I was just like, why? You could have got him in the 4th or 5th round. No one's looking at him. No one was looking at him. Seriously, I think he had the 6th pick and they picked him. Hey, Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones is in the playoffs with the Vikings. Look at him now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Think about this, though, guys. Dable at least gets the best out of that defense. The Giants' defense has not been the problem the last 3 years. It's just the offensive line, quarterback play, receivers, running backs has gotten progressively worse since he's got there.
Won't you be my neighbors is the only thing they got going for them.
Yep.
Yeah, and one last thing, though. McDaniels did lead the league in high-water pants and shoes with no socks and douchebag glasses. So he's got that on his resume.
Now better than Daniel Jones, Mario. Don't be disrespectful.
Now, here's one of the weirdest weeks of all time, but I loved it, people. Week 18 had, if there was more teams in contention, this would be really, really fun. But it literally put every division team against every division team. It was really cool to see. And it started out on Saturday, January 4th, where we got the Ravens hosting the Browns, former Browns facing the new Browns. But the same old Browns showed up, 35-10. Not much to say about this one, gentlemen, other than the Ravens sewed up that division.
So it did.
Yeah, they showed up the division. They played a dynamic game. Derrick Henry got his touches. Lamar Jackson, ran, passed, did his business. Cleveland was Cleveland. The big question coming out of this game, not only was the Ravens going to win the division, which they do, injury update on Zay Flowers. He goes out with a knee injury. He's now, I don't know what his status is going into the game against Pittsburgh in round 1. That's something to look at. But I think even if he was not to play, I think the Ravens, foreshadowing here, are not going to have a problem and do just fine with their other receivers like Bateman. Mark Andrews is starting to come around late in the year. So I think no harm, no foul, Zay Flowers. I would say if you're 50-50 and you feel good about Pittsburgh, take it easy. Maybe be on the active roster and add if you need to. Take it easy.
Don't risk re-aggravating the injury. It's the Steelers. They lost 4 games in a row. Take it easy. You guys, you're good. The Browns are what they are. The Browns. This game was over. It was over when week 17 when it was over.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about the Ravens in their season as they won the division. You guys remember Ryan Tannehill for the
Ryan Tannehill,
Yep.
He literally owes his career to the running back called Derrick Henry, who opened up that play action passing.
Come on.
I'm saying look at Lamar's season. I mean, Lamar looked untouchable because he had so much time. Everyone is scared of Henry.
Yep.
So, he took advantage.
I mean, having a Derrick Henry in your back pocket does help you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So that moves us on, and we're going to get to our teams, and we're going to spend some time on that. But
We
will when we get there.
We don't need to talk about my boy.
By the way, yours is coming up in a couple games.
No, let's talk about my boy, man. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just bypass it. This is over.
So that would be the second game. It was Bengals-Steelers. Russell Wilson completed the choke job as Burrow and the Bengals played an outstanding, fun game, 19-17. They'll fall short, but they finished the season. Boys, was this a failure for the Steelers going 10-7, being in control of that division, or a success for the Bengals, or both, meaning the fact that the Bengals had so many injuries, so many things go wrong, and they still finish above 500?
I'll say it's a little bit of both. Simple as this. Pittsburgh screwed the pooch. What more can you say? They screwed the pooch. They had it. They didn't. Baltimore's a division winner. You got to feel bad for Cincinnati in some regard. Again, that defense was really, really bad all season long. And of course, in the last 3-4 games of the year, they find the magic and basically win 5 in a row to catapult themselves into contention at the end of the day. We all knew that if it came down to the Chiefs-Broncos game, that even if the Chiefs were playing their regulars, they were going to let Denver win because there was no way, shape, or form the Chiefs and Mahomes were going to want to see that red-hot Burrow-led Bengals team in the postseason. Because, it's all about getting hot going into the postseason.
Absolutely.
So I think it's just tough luck for Cincinnati. My hope as an outside Bengals fan, again, Niners through and through, but I do like what Cincinnati has. I love Burrow. I really, really hope their GM finds a way to retain T. Higgins and keep that trio together of Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. I think I really like Gesicki at the tight end spot. He fit in with that offense very well. Beef up the O-line and give more protection to Burrow. You should always do that. Beef up the defense. If that defense was half better than where they were early on in the year, they easily are probably in the 5 seed. They would be. I think they would be better than the Chargers if they had a better defense.
100%.
Because they can score 40 points a game, and Matt just likes to get on the Chargers, so it's a 2-for-1 special in that regard. But tough luck for the Bengals. I feel bad for them. It comes down to all the tiebreakers, like Todd, Seahawks, same way, like depth of the tiebreakers it goes to. So, but Cincinnati can fix a couple things. They'll be right in contention once again next year. Blip in the road
in a tough division. Go ahead, Matt.
100%. Yeah, it's definitely a bit of both. Steelers blew this. I mean, they in the beginning and before this 4-game losing streak, you would think like, hey, Steelers could win this division. And then what the heck happened? Russell Wilson, they was talking about resurgence of his career, and then all of a sudden he looks like a shell of him. Not a shell of himself, but he wasn't playing to the level he was the first few games when he started after Justin Fields. And for the Cincinnati Bengals, man, they came back and just, man, if it wasn't for that Broncos game, they'd be in the playoffs. That was a team you did not want to play. And the defense gave up at least 3 games. I can count them.
Yeah.
Definitely they gave up 3 games. And had they won 2 of those games, one of those games, they would be in the playoffs, and they would be a scary team to play. They definitely would have beat the Chargers. I'll tell you that right now. I guarantee that.
I'll say this before we move on to the next game. My man crush as far as a player on another team, Hendrickson for the lineman for the Bengals. God, dude, I wish he was a Seahawk. That guy is another Bosa. I mean, he is
replicate him times 3 on that defense at linebacker and safety. You could start building a defense once again if you're Cincinnati. And all right, the Rally Chris Matty drama is going to continue.
Y'all can have Zeke Elliott. He's going to give you 1 yard. That's it.
It might be the touchdown.
It might be.
Now let's move on to another team from one choke to another choke. The Falcons. Okay, remember earlier in the season when Kirk Cousins was turning the ball over, they said, man, if he stops turning the ball over, the Falcons are going to start winning games because their defense has been holding teams at times. And all of a sudden, they get Penix in there. They start scoring the last few weeks, and they can't play defense. They lose 44-38. Guys, was this more Penix, or was this the quarterback? His name's escaping me right now. Why can't I think of
Bryce
him?
Young?
Yeah, or was this Bryce Young emerging late in the season? What or both again? 44-38 Panthers in overtime.
I'm going to say, because the jury is still out on Penix, again, only 3 games to his career. No one should be tape measured on 3 games in their career. So in that case, I'm putting everything in Carolina. You saw Carolina when they went back to Bryce Young after the Andy Dalton experience. And it was a changed, I don't want to say culture, but it was a changed team. They started off with their defense holding games rather close. Bryce Young was starting to throw the ball a little more. He found Adam Thielen. They found that connection, and they started getting things. Once Deontay Johnson went out of Carolina, there was a shift. And I'm not blaming Johnson. It just happened to coincide that way. And we talked about it, I want to say 3-4 weeks ago, about Carolina. And I said, let Carolina play the rest of the season. Let Bryce Young play. Keep this core together. Give them a chance. You can't go through yet another coaching change, another quarterback change. We can't keep doing that to these young quarterbacks that are transitioning into the league differently. I don't care if Bryce Young went to Alabama and won the national title game. I don't care. The NFL is a different beast. So good for Carolina. I know if you're an Atlanta fan, it's tough. Tampa Bay, we'll talk about it in a moment, was better at that point. But how about that? Atlanta beats Tampa twice in the regular season and still misses the playoffs. That's got to burn. That's got to burn a little.
Yeah, that's got to hurt, man.
That's got to hurt. I ain't gonna lie, man. The Falcons, you gave up 44 points to the Carolina Panthers, which, like you said, Dom, after Bryce Young came in after the second stint, they've been playing a lot better.
And there was no Chuba Hubbard.
And there was no Chuba. That was just about to say. They put up 44 points without their best offensive player. Come on now, Falcons. That defense, man. And I'm not blaming nothing on Penix. He's only 3 games in. Yeah. The jury's out for him. Let's see what happens next year. He actually did pretty good. In the 3 games he came in, he did okay, for a rookie. So this is definitely on the goddamn defense. And have y'all noticed a pattern with the Falcons? They just be blowing it all the time. I picked them to win the division. Remember the Super Bowl when they had the Patriots down, 28-3?
I learned that last year in the pickups. Every time I picked Atlanta, they'd lose. I learned my lesson.
You can't count on the Falcons to finish, man. Yep. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. And I ain't going to pick them again.
I will say this isn't no Michael Vick experiment because Penix is completely different. However, he's got the moves to get out of the pocket. But one thing I noticed about him, he's got an accurate-ass arm, dude. I mean, it's spiral right in between defenders. So it was pretty to see him finish out the season. And it looks like, he might be good moving forward. I hope that the Falcons are more competitive next year.
He has weapons with London and Bijan Robinson. If you put a really good wide receiver 2 on that squad, because Darnell Mooney, I would say he's like
Darnell Mooney's pretty good.
I would say he's like bottom 2, top of tier 3. If you could get a decent 2 and Penix can throw darts the way he does, that offense, not the defense, the offense could be competitive for sure.
Oh, yeah, because him and London found each other 10 times. I mean, they were looking good.
And real quick, and like you said, in that division, it's for grabs, man. If they can beat the Bucks 2 games in the division, and
there were games, if Carolina won, they could have been in the chase.
Yeah.
That's insane to think.
Yeah, that division is
it's a few tweaks here, and you never know.
Yeah.
So now let's get back to the Guardians or the Commanders. On the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys, Matt? We're gonna hear your thoughts on this one. They lose 23-19.
I didn't watch it.
It was the glorified backups game. Both teams decided to throw in the towel, and the Cowboys still found a way to lose. 23-19. Marcus Mariota, didn't know that guy was still in the league.
Yep.
Cowboys improve or fall to 2-7 at home.
They improve by not having to get injured next week. They're relaxing.
Bro. At least, Brandon
Aubrey.
Ahead,
Matt. Start it off, Matt.
At least Brandon Aubrey, we know he can kick field goals. That's the best thing we got this season. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. Look, man, I ain't going to lie to you. I was skimming through the game. I didn't really watch it. I'm just keeping the butt. It was no point of watching it. But I did see that last play. How the hell did you give up a touchdown with 5 seconds to go? And what? Come on, man. I know it didn't mean nothing. I know it wouldn't mean nothing. We wasn't going to make a play. Come on. You're right there, man. You got the lead. God damn it, you can't hold the lead for that long. Man. You lose at home like that. Lauren. I ain't gonna lie, Scary Terry is dope. I like Scary Terry. But damn it.
Can you answer that question, though, by Nats fan?
What is it? Maddie, why the hell did your Cowboys try to twist the First of all, okay, I saw the video. I have no comment on that. No diddy. No diddy.
Was he thinking it was a white party or what?
Hey, man, he was trying to do something. It didn't look right. It didn't look right at all, man. And as men, there's a no-fly zone right there. We don't touch that. No-fly zone.
The only thing I want to ask Matt in this case, because, Cowboys are out, Commanders are in, this game was meaningless at a certain point. I feel bad for Cooper Rush. He needed to play, what was it? I forget how many snaps in this game to hit 55% of snaps in the whole season, and he would have got like a $500,000 bonus or something. And right away, Jerry Jones is like, Trey Lance is our QB1 today.
Jerry Jones doing Jerry Jones thing, man.
If anybody had questions on Trey Lance as a Cowboys quarterback, there's your tape.
Well, look, I'm gonna say this. It was only one game. Was it bad? It was bad, but it wasn't the worst I've seen. He did score a touchdown.
Ben DiNucci could have been worse.
Oh yeah, don't even bring that name up. Ben DiNucci. Come on now. All I'm gonna say is this: look, it was a meaningless game. It didn't matter. Good game for the Commanders. Congratulations. This was a horrible season for us. You guys can talk all your smack you want. I don't care. I'm still going to be cowboyed up. I'm still going to talk my smack. Riley Chris, the Chargers are going to lose in the first round. Team 20. I can't say much about the Eagles, but damn it, they're not going to win the championship. The Commanders might win one, and that's it. Our division ain't winning crap. I'll tell you that. Right now.
Well, we'll see what happens come playoff time. We'll be talking about that. And one last thing on the Cowboys, though. I was surprised when I was watching.
Don't be disrespectful.
No. When I was watching Landman, I don't know if you guys heard of that. With Billy Bob Thornton.
Jerry Jones's cameo.
I will say his cameo was very, very good. I really enjoyed his acting.
I watched it. I watched the scene this morning. I'm like, all honesty, he can act. Good for him.
That was really, really good.
Thank
He'll
you
take-
for giving
he's-
us some kind of credit.
Well, now I'm going to take it away. He's going to take the residual checks he gets from Landman and puts it towards a no-name, free agent or something.
And then look, I saw a stat real quick. I know we talked about the Cowboys too long. I saw a stat on Facebook. It said the Cowboys are a 3-1 favorite to land Tyreek Hill. I was like, don't you mean Tyson Hill? We ain't getting no Tyreek Hill, man. I can tell you that right now. When it comes to star players, I don't know what Jerry Jones is just immune to them. He just don't want them.
No.
So
We never know. I mean, the Saints could be giving you guys Hill because they're $66 million in the hole. They're going to have to cut some guys.
you think we Tyson Hill? Lord? No.
I don't know. Maybe you need a backup quarterback or
Or tight end or offensive lineman or whatever the hell he want to be that week. No, I'm good.
Now let's move on to another game. So Matt talked about his Cowboys. Let's talk about a game that I thought it definitely deserved Matt saying, don't be so disrespectful, because
Here we go.
this one kind of got to me, and it had nothing. And this game I didn't give two shits about it, because all the Titans did was wrap up the number 1 pick. The Texans were just playing out the string, and they still won 23-14. But what a jab in the side of the city, or to the people of Houston. I don't know why the NFL allows this, because when the Sonics moved to Oklahoma, they did not let Oklahoma use the Sonics jerseys, their emblems, nothing, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It should have been like that with Houston. Houston should have retained the Oilers logo. Instead, the Tennessee Titans were wearing their Houston Oilers jerseys while playing Houston. I thought that was very disrespectful. Do you agree?
And then CBS cuts him with a game break from the same game.
Yeah.
That's so disrespectful.
That's yeah, man. No, there wasn't much. Another meaningless game. The only thing this game meant was Tennessee now holds the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Mhm.
So is it going to be a quarterback? Maybe, because Rudolph ain't the guy and Will Levis is a train wreck. So
He sucked.
for all intents and purposes, Cam Ward, Shadori Sanders, welcome to Tennessee. Go down to Broadway Street and have a drink on the people.
We're gonna go to Tennessee. You think he's gonna want to go to Tennessee, man?
He'll go to Kid Rock's Cafe. There you go.
Broadway Street,
Bruh.
all the country music bars are down the way.
Bruh.
Have fun.
Bruh.
It's one of those things. This wasn't really a ramp up for the Texans for the playoffs, because they didn't really play their starters. I know they played them, I think, like in the first drive of the game. Nico Collins got a touchdown. They're kind of a one-trick pony right now because Joe Mixon kind of tapered off at the end of the season. But the backup running back, Dameon Pierce, who was the last 2 years was a lot of fantasy draft picks and whatever, and he went down the page, almost 200 yards rushing for the game. So they said, let's run the ball down the throats of the Titans and win this game. And by George, they did.
Yeah, not much to say about this game at all. I mean, Titans were supposed to win. I will say this. Congratulations on what you call it. Texans was supposed to win. I said Titans. Titans, congratulations on the Titans for wrapping up the number 1 seed. I don't know who you're going to get, but you ain't getting Shador. I can tell you that right now. So figure it out.
All right, now in another meaningless game, Jaguars at Colts. Jaguars finished 4-13 for it seems like the 10th or 12th time in their history. Colts finished 8-9. Disappointing. Joe Flacco plays his last game, guys, as an NFL quarterback.
Oh yeah, come on
He's
now.
still.
Don't do it, Dom.
I'm not saying he balls out, but I've seen other aging veteran quarterbacks have to step in and not look as good as he has. I'm not saying he's like A+ Messiah, but for his age and what he's been through in his career, he can still sling it and do it. Like I would give it like a B. Like for his age, a B. That's probably a nice maybe C+. That's not bad. I'd take it if I was his age. Hell, why not? Again, another game. Jonathan, Taylor ran the ball again. Indianapolis halfway. The first third of the season, we're going to run the ball. Middle of the season, we're going to pass it. Now, when we're completely out of it, let's run the ball again and do what works. Indianapolis has so many ups and downs. They got to figure it out with their front office. I know they said coaching and GM are safe. I think next year will be the last year, and then it might be clean house time for Jim Irsay. But did Mac Jones prove he could play in the league? I think it helps out when you have a really talented rookie wide receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. Guaranteed he is a top 5 wide receiver pick outside of Jefferson, Chase, and
That's a strong statement, Dom. Be careful.
I know.
what you say.
Out of the wide receivers that are probably going to go fantasy first round, Jefferson, Jamar Chase, probably Tyreek Hill in that range, depending where he's at and whatever the case is. Then CeeDee Lamb. I'm trying to think of any other wide receivers that would be that are not going to be AJ Brown. So, but he can on any given day. I think Brian Thomas Jr. can compete. I'm not saying all year, but on any given day, he could go one-on-one and maybe have a better game that one day. Talented kid. We'll see how long it lasts in Jackson. What was that?
You think he's better than Marvin Harrison?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, look what Brian Thomas is doing with a backup quarterback in Mac Jones. Look what Marvin Harrison Jr. is doing with a QB1 and Kyler Murray. Quarterback
Kyler Murray that you guys don't even give a name. The one that y'all smack on every
Wait, the
week.
season's over now. And P.S. Well, I called him by his name and they beat the Niners. Spoiler alert, so it doesn't count. But you know what? Midget.
Yeah, there you go.
Season's over. I'm done.
He's got to be able to see the receiver to throw the ball to
Real
him.
quick, not much to talk about this game. The Jaguars suck. They got rid of Doug Peterson. Hopefully, they return back to a winning season because I like Trevor Lawrence, even though Todd over here be so disrespectful to the man. I like Trevor Lawrence. He's actually pretty good. But the Colts, man, I think what happened with the Colts was they put their marbles in Andrew Luck. And when Andrew Luck said, I'm gone, they just didn't know what to do after that. Because ever since Andrew Luck retired, out of nowhere, they ain't been the same since. I don't even think they made a play. They may have made one playoff game since he retired. But ever since Andrew Luck retired, it was just like, what do we do? And ever since then, they don't know what to do. And I don't know. They got to look for that franchise quarterback again because Andrew Luck was pretty good.
Yep. So that moves us on to the Patriots and Mayo getting fired for winning that 4th game, taking the Patriots out of that number 1 pick. Yeah, it seems like it. Bills win or Bills lose. Bills lose with Trubisky at quarterback, 23-16. I think any team that has Trubisky loses. I don't have any thoughts on this game at all. It was just garbage.
It was. I mean,
props to the backup quarterback for the Patriots to ball out like he did, Joe Milton.
Mm-hmm.
Who maybe they should have had him and not Jacoby Brissett filling some of those games for Drake May.
True.
But it's the last game of the season. You're going to give players opportunity. So who knows? He could be battling for a spot with Drake May, or in a few years, if he gets cut, finds another team. Any game in week 18 of a second string or third string quarterback is an opportunity to maybe in the free agent market. So if it works out, but hey, New England, 4 wins. Congrats.
Yeah.
You guys remember when Mitchell Trubisky was like the number 1 quarterback?
Why? I never said that. Never.
Milk Hyper was raving over him.
The Bears do.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, man, I didn't even realize he was a backup quarterback over there at goddamn what you call it. So
Buffalo.
this game was a typical week 18 game. That's all. The Bills didn't play nobody and I fell for the trap. I should have picked the Patriots. Man.
I'm not gonna lie. Last week when we did the pick'ems, I wasn't thinking who was,
Me neither.
I didn't think about it. I'm like,
I didn't think about it either. I was just picking the teams.
That's why I'm saying that's the only reason why I won, because I'm like
the only reason why Todd won, because he's like, week 18. Yeah, I'm picking the underdogs.
His week 1 through 17 plan came into effect in week 18.
It worked. Right. Yeah, I had a plan. I'm like, I'm gonna go out a winner. And that's more than what I could say for the Eagles and the Giants. Dable did not go out a winner as the Eagles tried everything to lose this game. Tanner McKee, the 3rd string quarterback, played, and they still won 20-13 over the Giants. That's all I got on that one.
I'll say it again. Tanner McKee, same high school that I went to. I saw him play ball. Good for him to be competitive. I thought the Eagles would run the ball more. I picked Gainwell in fantasy, and that's, backfired big time. So screw the Eagles on that one. But are we shocked?
No.
Not really.
Not really at all.
Good for Tanner McKee. Go Centennial.
Yep. Matt?
I mean, not much to say, man. Like you said, the Eagles were trying to lose. Like, hey, just take it, man. Matter of fact, the one thing I will say about this game was, I know, Saquon, you don't want to risk injuries, especially on a meaningless game. But I did want him to go for the record. I did. I actually did want to see him go for the record. And the fact that he got sat out, it's bittersweet.
I think Saquon is secretly humble.
He is. And that's why I respect it. But, the fan in us for someone – because, look, I'm not a hater of Saquon. I want to see every player do well, even though you're playing on that team. But I wish I would have saw him get the record. But he's secretly a very humble guy, and I respect that. That's the only thing I wish he would have I can guarantee he said, I don't want to play.
And especially against the Giants.
That part. That would have been perfect.
That would be, but I will admit he's not petty like that. He's not. He's focused on winning, and basically he treated it like a business. Yep. And he's going about his business like it's business.
He is a football guy.
He looks at the Giants and says, "Thank you for the time I was there. I appreciate it, but I'm an Eagle now. The fans are going to boo me because I went to the rival." And he's wearing it like a badge of honor, but not like I'm an Eagle now. Screw you guys. He's just like, I'll take it. Business as usual. So I'll give him props for sure.
Yeah, mad props to Saquon. He is a football guy, not that rah stuff. He ain't looking for very humble. I respect Saquon.
See, I don't like Dickerson. He's a dickhead. He no pun intended, but he beat what is it, OJ and Peyton's record in 2 more games. Yeah. And so it's like it would have been fitting if Saquon did it, but like you guys said, he's humble. He respects the game. He respects himself and the team, putting the team first. Mad respect for that guy, even though I'm not an Eagles fan either. That moves us on to the Bucks and the Saints. And guys, I was titillated with this game for a reason early because I was like, wait, are the Bucks going to blow this? They were down 16-6 at half. And then Baker just started throwing dimes.
Same thing happened when these two teams met in New Orleans early in the year. The first quarter was all Saints, and then Baker had 2 interceptions on back-to-back possessions in the second quarter, and then the Bucks balled out in the second half and killed them. I think it was like 52-14, or it was a big score. It's kind of the same thing, not as big, but I had Tampa Bay winning the division all season long. I didn't think it would come down to this close, but Atlanta made it interesting. All I can say is Mike freaking Evans.
Yep,
First ballot Hall of Famer.
That was a cool moment.
You saw the joy. And I'm not going to say, because if you rewatch the play, it almost looks like the New Orleans secondary just kind of backs off and get it. So I'm not going to say because they were still trying to play, but I think New Orleans knew. And it just, again, business as usual. And you kind of just respect the game and the game will respect you back type situation. So if they did back off, good for them. I think even if they played and that was an incomplete, there was still 16 seconds left on the clock. Tampa Bay was getting him that money and that record, no doubt. So they were going to get it some way, shape, or form. New Orleans knew they lost. But first ballot Hall of Famer Mike Evans, like, damn. And they get the number 3 seed because the Rams lose.
Yeah,
not bad. Good for Tampa.
Yeah, stand-up guy Mike Evans. And if you read his backstory, he came from a lot of turmoil with his family. I think his father got killed by his uncle or something like that. It's the backstory that you guys look into. But stand-up guy, and like you said, Dom, when you respect the game respects you. So I'm happy for Evans. That's the only thing I can really talk about this game. The Saints actually still could have won that game though, but still, but. The fact that if they did let off and let Evans get that, kudos to that. In that moment, let them have it.
Yep.
Absolutely. Now, game, I don't even want to talk about it because it's so stupid. 38-0. I mean, Denver.
No.
I mean, Chiefs.
We called it. Like I said, the only thing to say about this is the Chiefs did not want to see Bengals in the playoffs, even if they were never going to play them.
Yeah. That was the tip. That game was so obvious that they did not want to see the Bengals. 38-0.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Like you saw Joe Burrow after the game and the Pittsburgh win. He was like, we dug ourselves in this hole. And he was like, we're gonna be watching football Sunday and we're gonna cheer on the Jets and we'll see what happens in Denver. Like you just knew like it wasn't gonna happen. So
yeah.
But
yeah.
Go Denver. Good job.
Yeah, and I picked the Chiefs, not thinking, like I said, the Broncos. Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be 38-0. Like,
I mean, they rested all their starters. I think even Andy Reid didn't put his headset on.
I thought the Chiefs would get I thought Carson Wentz would get them at least one tutty, like get on the board.
Something.
I didn't even know he was still in the league.
Yeah,
so the next game is Rally Chris's Chargers defeating James's Raiders 34-20, and the Chargers solidify a playoff spot right there. They are in. The Raiders lose. We all talked about what happened with Pierce after this one. 4-13 season again for the Raiders. 2-6 at home. There is no home field advantage for that team. Nope. How far can the Chargers go, guys?
Maddie, I'll take the heat off you just for a second. I'll let you prep and get ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
I'm going to say, I'll be simple. First half, the Chargers were kind of a little lackadaisical, and the Raiders were playing competitive. And then second half comes along, and they're like, or end of second quarter, early third quarter, they got it in a high gear, took the win, figured it out. I believe, and again, foreshadowing, giving away my pick for the playoffs, I think the Chargers will win their first round matchup against Houston.
Stop it.
I think they're, again, when we talk about teams that are doing the right things at the right time towards the playoffs, I would say the Chargers are doing the right things at the right time. Texans, not so much. And just on the trajectory, whatever the X's and O's on the inside, when you just look at team trajectories, Chargers are on a little bit of a high, and Houston's kind of flatlining and back and forth. So that's why I would give the edge to the Chargers. And you know what? The first round, there's always at least one upset somewhere or not.
This could be an upset, though?
Well, 5 beating a 4, technically, based on the seeding. Based on the seeding.
Okay.
Based on the seeding, it would be an upset.
Okay.
But Chargers, tip of the cap to Harbaugh and that entire crew. I thought they would win no more than 6 this year, maybe 7. And I think I said they would finish last. And I was completely wrong. I've eaten Corona on that all year long, and I'm very happy for the Chargers. I got no ill will against them, so good for them. They are setting themselves up well. They're going to be ahead of the curve going into the offseason and next year already. So good for them. Matt, good luck. Have fun.
All right. First of all, Joshua, Raleigh Chris, my boy Hector. He ain't on here, but my boy Steven, all you Chargers fans, you're lucky. I'm going to say that. Yeah. Enjoy your goddamn season, okay? It's the last thing you're going to enjoy. Because them Texans, boy, I'm picking the Texans to beat y'all already. I don't care what it is. I don't care if they ain't got Collins or whatever. I'm picking the Texans to beat. Y'all not beating the Texans. Only because I said so. So, look, congratulations to you guys. I agree. The first half, it could have went either way with the Raiders. The Raiders was giving you – y'all was nervous. I can guarantee y'all was nervous in the first half. I don't know what the heck happened in the second half of the Raiders, man. They just pissed me off. And Rally Chris is texting me and stuff like that. Oh, I thought you said the Chargers were going to lose. Rally Chris messaged me about 100 times this weekend. I'm tired of you, Rally Chris.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, in all seriousness, they had a good season. Harbaugh really turned that team around. I'm shocked. They shockingly made it in the playoff. I thought they were going to be at least a 2-3 year, team to get things going, but they clipped early. So shout out to the Chargers. I'll give you your congratulations for this week. You beat the Raiders. Ho, ho, ho. All I know is this. The Texans is coming in.
Y'all got to clip that little 3 seconds where Maddie is like, I'll give you your props this week. Cut. That's the one clip all season right there.
That's it.
Well, Rally's been asking for me
to play that goddamn clip.
No, producer. He has another one that he sent me, but I wasn't able to upload it, so I don't have it. Yeah. So maybe I can have it for next week. But
hey, bring on all Chargers fans. Come on, bring them on.
Oh. Now let's talk about my team. The Seahawks. I won't bore you guys to death on this one, but they win 30-25 in a game that I gave up on, did not go to. They have a franchise best 7-1 road record. The problem I have, which I talked to Maddie, was that they were 3-5 in Lumen Field, or 3-6 at Lumen Field, I should say. losing to a Niners team that was beaten up at the time, and everyone's like, ooh, making excuses for Geno. I was kicked out of a couple Seahawk pages because I'm tired of Geno. I think they need a new offensive line. They need a new quarterback. He's 24 or he's 26 and 24 as a starter. And once again, that's not good enough to do anything to make the postseason or to do anything. And he's no wins in the postseason. And granted, when he doesn't do Geno things, he does throw a good, accurate ball. But the problem is he doesn't slide protection. He doesn't notice blitzes, and he holds the ball way too freaking long. And then the offensive coordinator got fired today as well because they weren't meshing. Look, I told you guys weeks ago when they lost to the Giants, that was going to bite them in the ass. And guess what? They lost by percentage points to the freaking Rams to end the season. The Rams get in. And I'll just say this real quick, Dom. I think you can agree with me in this assessment. The Niners, with all their crap that they went through, they fought to the very end. I thought that the Niners did not show up this week, and they had every right to because they played as hard as they possibly could through things. The Cardinals, the shit team that they are, took advantage of that and beat up on them when they were already down. So I have no respect for the Cardinals. They blew this division too, could have been theirs. And then when it came to the Seahawks, the genius was still trying to beat Geno and almost did beat Geno with backups. And I got nauseous when I kept seeing Fox just have a love fest with the genius, showing him running up. Hey, look how fast he ran up and down that sideline, calling the timeout. Oh, look at how he's in shape. And then I saw him do something, which I've seen him do multiple times this year, Dom. And that is before the game and at halftime, he's the most courteous guy to the ref. He's giving him bro hugs, shaking hands, talking a little chit chat. How's the wife? How's the kids? Hey, you kiss an ass. Bitch, I hate him.
I know, it's rough. I feel you. No, I think, as much as, Niners fans, Seahawks fans, they don't get along. Interdivision rivals. It's the game, and we appreciate the rivalry. When you lose by percentage points, I would rather be on the Niners side of things right now and go through what we went through this year and clearly be out of the playoffs than lose and be out of the dance like that. That can't happen if you're Seattle. Like with the talent you have on offense with Metcalf and Njigba and not utilizing Lockett and the whole offensive issues this year, that can't happen. Mm-hmm. So for them to fire their offensive coordinator and that whoever the new OC is going to be is going to want their offense in their manner. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a quarterback change in Seattle. I wouldn't be shocked. Kirk Cousins, some people are thinking Jimmy Garoppolo makes no. I don't think that's a good move. I would say if you're going to trust any veteran of the free agent market, you would figure out a deal to get Kirk Cousins, take on that money. I don't know what Seattle's cap space is like, but try and see what you can manage and squeeze whatever out of Kirk Cousins as you can. If you're looking more future-esque, do you call Minnesota about J.J. McCarthy? Do you go for another younger quarterback and try to develop them and go that route? It's going to be whoever the new offensive coordinator is. I'm not shocked Seattle won this game. I'm really not shocked because the Rams are resting their starters, and they said the day before, we don't care if we're the 3 seed, we don't care the 4 seed. We have a home game. We don't care who we're playing. We're in the dance. That's what matters. They're going to now get Minnesota on a Monday night at SoFi Stadium. I don't know.
Yeah, careful.
Would you rather have Vikings in a Monday Night Football rematch after the Sam Darnold face mask gate game, or the Commanders who are with a rookie quarterback and making the first postseason in a long time?
Yeah. That's cockiness to the extreme right there, dude.
Yeah, and there we talk about the Texans kind of being going, all that stuff. Matthew Stafford's older, okay. Puka Nakua's dynamic. Cooper Kupp, not great right now. They got Tyler Higbee back, but he's still coming back from that ACL tear. The defense has moments. Their defensive line is pretty good. It's going to be very interesting, but I think McVay got a little cocky in that. I'm like, if you win this game, you get the Commanders instead of the Vikings. True. So, but Seattle, tough season in that regard, especially the Giants and a couple tough luck losses. I can say that as a rival fan.
Mm-hmm. Randy chiming in, he said he had so much.
He wanted to unload on Darnold.
Oh, I bet he did. Oh,
He unloaded, just not on the podcast.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
I feel for you, brother. I feel for you.
we hope you feel better, Randy.
We're praying for your toilet too. So,
Hey, real talk though. Who would you rather have, Todd? Kirk Cousins or Sam Darnold?
to be honest, and it's gonna piss off Randy, but I think I would like Sam. I've seen enough of Kirk.
Woo! That'll be fun.
Dude, we were just talking about this earlier. Me and Todd was talking before the show. Seattle, man. I'm with you, Dom. To lose like that, I'd rather be defeated early in the season and knowing that my playoff season's over than to lose like that, especially when you have that much talent. You know what I'm saying? And Geno, I know I troll you, Todd, but Geno, we've seen what Geno is over the past few seasons. He ain't going to get you far. He's an average quarterback at best. I personally think you just scrap this team up. You keep DK. Obviously, Lockett's probably going to be gone. You didn't use him at all. Charbonnet, if you keep him, that'll be cool. Kenneth Walker, keep him. And then just beef up the O-line, draft a quarterback, start over, because I feel like you guys ain't going to go anywhere far. Just start a couple of year plan, man. Just get a couple of years.
We proved that 10 wins is not good enough to beat that NFC West. And especially if the Niners are going to be good next year, screw the midgets. But, I mean, the Niners and Rams aren't going to fall back. They're going to get better. So
Niners are going to get better.
We got to get better, too.
Just get over the years, though. Hey, because you ain't going to get better in 1 year. Just do that little plan, draft your quarterback, and just develop him and see what happens in the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Darnold's so good they're gonna move on like Trent Dilfer.
That was a low blow right there. That's a low blow.
He straight hit him in the crotch, man.
He hit him right there.
Speaking of Randy, the Jets, the Jets. They defeat the the high water pants Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill and his cluster of kids could be moving to your town anytime. He wants out of Miami. But this game, Jets, final game for Aaron Rodgers.
Everybody's talking about, did he mount the words, this is my last game on the sideline? And I'm like, you can't believe him because he'll say one thing and he jokes and he does his business. You're not going to know. Like, the Jets front office is going through turmoil. They're looking for a new coach, GM, all of that stuff. He's not going to be a part of the plans moving forward. So it's either, hey, Aaron, okay, great question. I just thought of it. Cousins or Aaron Rodgers with the Seahawks?
Cousins.
That was quick. I'm just
Captain
saying.
Kirk.
But that you could have that option. Like, what about somebody like the Raiders? If they don't get a quarterback in the draft, do they get someone lower down the line, bring in Aaron Rodgers for a year, do they do Aaron Rodgers for 1 year with a rookie quarterback to learn from him and then bounce him, retire him, and go to the rookie quarterback in his year 2? Like, if Rodgers wants to continue, there are certain teams that could plug in Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying he's going to be the Messiah or be good at all, but some teams would be like, ooh, Aaron Rodgers will sell some seats, see what we can milk out of him out of his last little ounces of football, and see what happens. Some GMs might be naive to that fact.
Look, I would use Rodgers if Rodgers plays like he did in Green Bay. Like if they were like a shotgun formation, let him throw the ball down the field, back shoulder passes.
Yeah.
But him out of the what is it, underneath the center as much as he was with the Jets, it's like I didn't like that dude. And he dinked and dunked way too much in New York.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. But hey, Jets fans, they get one more win on their season. They beat a division rival. How about them apples?
There you go.
Pretty much the same thing.
Okay. So
I mean, they won a meaningless game. It sucks for Miami, man. Yeah. And you know what? I will say this though. Tyreek Hill shouldn't be saying anything because he had an opportunity to keep winning when he was in Kansas City, and now he's complaining. He decided to leave to go to Miami. Can't go somewhere and then complain that you're there, we're not winning.
Yep.
You're on a winning team.
Well, Matt, let me ask you a question because I can't do it. But
I know where this is going.
from one brother to another, what's your advice to Mike McDaniel?
Hey man, the weather's nice in Miami. That's all.
No, I'd say, just show a brother Tyreek some love.
So look, Tyreek ain't going nowhere, man. He just frustrated. He just venting. You know how we do.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the end of the year. You
know how my people do. We just talking smack, man. We venting. You know what I'm saying? We mad. We frustrated. We just talking steam. And
he likes to be in the headlines. Let's be real. He likes to be in the headlines.
He was upset. He was just upset. Like, I don't want to be here. Let it die down. Let the season over. He gonna come back to Miami. Trust me.
Well, I think Mac McDaniel, my opinion, is gonna be like, listen, Jive Turkey, I need you to come back to Miami and play for the Dolphins.
I don't even think he used that term ever in his life. McDaniel's like, Jive Turkey. He don't know what that is.
He probably did on the sideline on Thanksgiving against the Packers.
Look,
Tyreek Hill's like, I don't want to go to any cookout that you're starting there, Mr. McDaniel.
I guarantee you, McDaniels don't know how to season chicken. I can tell you that. He looked like a brother. I'll tell you that right now.
All right, let's move on, Dominique. We got two more games left. Let's go to your Niners. I will say this out of all due respect. I hate your team, but I will say that was the hardest 6-11 record despite everything on and off the field.
Yeah, we've talked, I hate your team too, no problem. But it's all love. It's all love, brother. But, we've talked about it ad nauseum, the rough year, all the things that have happened from beginning to now. It was a tough season, and I'm glad it's in the past. Once every 5 years, we have this kind of heartbreak, and it wasn't heartbreak. It was just demolition. The good news, looking forward to the future. They fired their special teams coordinator, which should have happened weeks ago. The rumor is that they're going to fire their defensive coordinator yet again in Nick Sorensen.
I heard.
So the options out there for the 49ers on the defensive coordinator side of things, the pool this year is better than last year's pool after they fired Steve Wilkes. So do they go back to Robert Saleh if he doesn't get a head coaching job? Do they go after a guy that Shanahan knows and is friends with in the ex-Jets coach, Jeff Ulbrich? Do they go to him to be a defensive-minded guy? Do they go to the defensive-minded former Bears coach, Eberflus, in that sense? The Niners have options right now. I'm not sure where it's going to be, but that defense just hasn't been where it needs to be over the last 2 seasons. And yes, we were spoiled with Saleh and DeMeco Ryans in the years past. The Niners do have a laundry list of free agents that are going to, unrestricted free agents, like linebacker Dre Greenlaw. That could be a huge loss if the Niners can't retain him. Talanoa Ufunga in the secondary, that's a huge loss. And a lot of people are saying Pro Bowler Charvarius Ward could be out of San Francisco, not because he doesn't love it there, but in his closing media after the game in Arizona, he said ever since he lost his child in the middle of the season, just being in Santa Clara, being in the city he said, I've had emotional distress, physical distress. I love playing for this organization, top-notch coaches, top-notch organization, but there is it's too much to be here after everything that went down. So I would see that as him probably wanting to change the scenery for personal reasons. And as much as that would hurt me because he's been so dynamic in rebuilding the secondary, I get it. I'm not going to fight him on that. If he's got to go for his mental sake and his family's sake, by all means, go do it. Niners going to need a kicker because that 3rd-round pick 2 years ago ain't going to do shit at this point. He can't kick the field goal.
You got Moody.
He was my favorite guy on the Niners all year.
God,
he put me in a good moody.
Put me in a good moody too.
My guess, they're not going to release him. They'll keep him on the roster. They're going to bring in a veteran kicker to have a competition in the preseason and in the offseason. And I think they put Moody, if he loses, on the practice squad and a veteran kicker there. They're going to do that because he's still under a rookie contract. So that, I don't think they're going to do that. Randy on the chat saying Greg Zuerlein, Dom.
Hey,
The,
Janikowski,
the
no?
Niners are
It's all
saying
good,
veteran
good.
presence. So look what the Packers got in Brandon McManus.
Yeah,
He's been a
came out
good
of
kicker
nowhere.
this year. I actually like the guy that filled in for Jake Moody during his high ankle sprain. He was kicking for the Chiefs when Butker was out, Matt Wright.
Mhm.
He was perfect this year as a field goal kicker. Hell, bring him in and see what happens at the end of the day. But, it's at the end of the day, to wrap it up, flip the page, new era, new time for the 49ers. Get through this season. We're now officially in the offseason. They have the 11th pick in the draft. Shanahan and John Lynch are going to get to work ASAP on these coaches. And the Niners are going to have the easiest schedule in football next year, if you guys don't know that already. Based on who they play, it is the easiest schedule with a winning percentage of .415. There is no excuse if the Niners come back healthy and retooled that they should not win at least 11 games next year. The only games I'm worried about on their schedule, of course, the divisional games. Tampa Bay.
You worried about that?
Well, just because of what happened this year. You're coming up, you need to, the division games, we all know, division games, you cannot rest on your laurels one bit. And Todd said it very, very eloquently. The Rams are retooled. They're ready to roll. Seattle just needs a quarterback and a decent offensive coordinator, and they're going to be tough. And it's a rivalry. And the recards, the season's over. I got to go all in at this point. They are a team that I don't want to mess with either, because look at Kyler Murray. He'll run circles around us.
Yeah.
That's a problem if you're the 49ers. So at the end of the day, they're going to have the easiest schedule. I'm only worried truly about Tampa Bay on this outside of the divisional games. Tampa Bay and I'm blanking on who the other team is that I'm like, okay, that could be a good dynamic matchup. But there's only 2 games outside of the division. I'm like, that could be tough. So Niners, bare minimum, should have 11 wins next year. Anything less, failure.
Matt?
I will say this. I feel like the Niners just got the raw end of a bad year. Even from the beginning of the season before it started, a lot of off-season things happening, and that Madden curse. Madden curse is undefeated. That for sure. But you guys had a lot of injuries, a lot of off the field things that were very serious. Your player getting shot, losing a daughter, with the battle with what you said with Ward. A lot of things happening. And so it's just one of them years, man. Every football team goes through it, the good, the bad. You just have that one bad year. And I personally think if the Niners stay packed, they still might even do good next year. Even if they don't make any move, with no coaching changes, nothing like that. I think if you're healthy, man, come on, man. Your Niners are actually a pretty good team. Brandon Ayuk got hurt early in the season. Christian McCaffrey's been out pretty much the whole season. Brock Purdy, his contract coming. I honestly feel you guys don't have nothing to worry about next year. But after that, that's where the worry comes.
But if I told you both that never once.
Don't be so disrespectful, Randy.
Randy always being disrespectful here. If I told you at the beginning of the year, before the Madden curse and before anything happened, and I said these 2 things, Niners have the record that they do, only get 6 wins, and that McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle never once play on the field all together at one point all season. They never did. Would you say 6 wins would probably make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah. Never once. I saw that stat today. Never once did they play all 3 in the same game, or all 4, pardon me, in the exact same time. That's hard. When you put a lot of money and come in, and we knew the Super Bowl hangover was going to be real. The way they lost it, losing Dre Greenlaw, rupturing his Achilles in that moment. I will be on the Mount Rushmore forever saying if Dre Greenlaw does not rupture his Achilles in the Super Bowl, the Niners would have been champions.
I think the refs injected him with something before he went out there. They were like,
don't hold it against them.
Yeah. Now we only have one game left to talk about, and that is the game that did not live up to all the hype. But going into it, you're thinking 14-2 versus 14-2. battle for the NFC North, toughest division in all football. This is going to be a knock 'em out, drag 'em out game. Nope. In this case, Randy was right. Darno shit the bed, and Detroit looked ever so dominant. Only for a little bit were the Vikings in this game in the first half. Other than that, I mean, the Lions cruised to their first division championship in quite some time. First round bye ever.
Ever.
Not
even a Barry Sanders.
Let's be real at this point. Not shocked.
Mm-hmm.
I called Detroit winning this game. I didn't think Gibbs would have 4 touchdowns and have a fantasy juggernaut in this case scenario. But let me do the honors of reading our friend Randy, I think, put down earlier today.
Okay.
Oh,
Sam Darnold went 18 for 41, under 180 yards, passing in a big primetime spot.
why you got to put all that business
To be
out?
found when it mattered. That's why the Vikings will be a one and done in the playoffs. Sammy D's not built for the pressure, just like New York. Even if they traded Justin Jefferson and kept Sam, the pressure of replicating this season would likely cause him to regress. Big league pressure and expectations just aren't something USC quarterbacks can handle. And the turning of the tide in this game was end of the second quarter when he missed Jordan Addison on the in route with the block. And it was a close game in the first half, and then Detroit ran away with it. Just Sam Darnold didn't have a good game. I told you that home field advantage of Detroit was going to play big. But can they replicate it going into the Rams? And can Sam Darnold come back to LA where he grew up, where he went to college, and have a homecoming type first round of the playoffs? Because if they win and the 2 and 3 seed win, like Dan Campbell wants, they would have a rematch at Ford Field in 2 weeks.
Randy.
Don't shake your head, Natty.
No, Randy.
Here we go. Go for it.
Soon as the game was over, I was like, Randy's about to have a field day. Oh, man, he's about to have it.
Yep.
Pause. Hey, man, Sam Darnold picked the worst game to play like the Jets Sam Darnold. That's all I'm going to say, man. It was bad. He missed touchdowns, man.
He saw
A
ghosts.
field goal game, not one touchdown, a field goal game. I know it's Detroit, and I know they're good, but you're 14-2, man. Y'all both 14-2. You're playing for the division. You had to play with your life depending on it, and you played like that. Come on, man. You let me down, Sam Darnold. I still got love for you, brother. You're going to beat the Rams. It's okay. But damn it, you picked the worst time to play horrible. And I knew Randy was going to let it down. He messaged us in the group chat. Oh, there he is.
We'll see what happens. We're going to talk about that in a second there, because I'm telling you, the Vikings blew a golden opportunity right there.
Sure did.
To win that division.
I picked them to win too, and they just let me down.
And do they take it out on the McVays, or do the McVays get the last laugh?
Oh, here we go. Playoffs.
Yep. So real quick, here is the recap of your picks. The fans first. So the Grill Master goes 11-5, and then you have Sonia winning this season. So congratulations to her. Now Dominique is the dominator for a reason, but in a meaningless game,
oh Lord,
Todd jumps over the offensive line on the 1 yard line and scores a touchdown to lose.
He
to
did
Dominique.
it. He did it.
Todd Fox rises, the chaos begins. Your name's on his list, he'll still get it wrong again.
I'm going to cut that one short just to rub it in Randy's face since he's on the comments. Threw you into the butthole to finish the season.
On the last week of the season, too. That gotta hurt, man. Todd been in last place week 1 through 17, and then week 18. Oh, let me take that third place, man.
Randy's like, I'm going to create a special award for Todd, a butthole award. I'm like, crap, man, I earned it this year. But lo and behold, I steal it at the very last.
Randy got the ultimate toilet tonight, unfortunately. We wish you well, Randy. Be safe. Be healthy. We miss you.
Yes, sir.
Now let's jump into the playoffs, shall we?
Playoffs.
And judging, tomorrow's going to be the last day of football for the next 5 days because you're going to have college football playoffs Thursday, Friday. Then you're going to have Saturday 2 games on Paramount and Prime. And then you're going to have Paramount on Sunday and then 2 more games on Sunday, 1 on Fox and then 1 on Peacock. And then you're going to have a Monday night game for some reasons because you got to give the Rams an extra day. You have to.
You got to give every network a fair and equal money opportunity.
Dude, they did that exactly for the Rams, bro. Do you really think an NFC West division team deserves a Monday night game? If anything, that one should have went to the Eagles. It should have went to the Bills.
I think the year before that we played on a Monday game. I think when we played the Buccaneers, it was a Monday game.
Yeah, that was a Monday. Yeah.
But
no,
yeah.
When you look at the schedule, the way it's gone down, I think the Saturday games are perfect. I think those are 2 good games to have on a Saturday. But let's be real. The 10 a.m. Broncos and Bills, good. I think Packers and Eagles should have been, or let me rephrase that. Vikings and Rams should have been the 1:30 on Fox. Packers, Eagles, Sunday Night Football with Commanders, Bucks Monday night.
That would have been better.
I think that would have been the better, or Packers, Eagles, Monday Night Football.
Yeah, because you literally started the season with those 2. You may end it with one of those teams losing.
The only thing I can think of was they were going to put the Rams against Lions or Vikings on Monday night because Vikings and Lions played the last game of the season. So they needed, they had a 3-hour time change. Yeah. And they need an extra full 24 hours to prepare. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I don't like it. But with that being said, guys, let's get into the pick'ems. Chargers, Rally Chris's team. You have a few other Joshua's team, a bunch of other Chargers fans. Chargers go on the road. Harbaugh's first year is pretty good, 11-6. He's taking on the Texans, who are the Houston Oilers at times. They are 3-point underdogs at home. 42 points is the total points scored in this one. Tickets going as low as $73 in Houston. A 1:30 game on Saturday. I'll start it off with saying, look, I'm going to have to go with Matt on this one. I like the Chargers to beat Houston. The sophomore slump is real. The injuries are real on the wide receivers that Dominic's been talking about all year. There's something up there on the offense. Defense is fairly good, but I like the Chargers defense, and I like Harbaugh, and I like them to win by a touchdown.
I said it before when we talked about the Chargers and the Raiders game. The Chargers are just ascending into the playoffs at the right time, doing things the right way. Harbaugh's got this team well above where everybody thought they would be and past the curve. I think they're ahead of the curve by now 2 years just with this playoff bid right now. They're going to go and play a good coach team with DeMeco Ryans and a good defense, but I think Jim Harbaugh is more of a veteran at the coaching position. They're going to pressure CJ sophomore slump Stroud in this case. And the offense is all running through Nico Collins right now. They're probably going to put Derwin James on him and have a one-on-one battle. Give me the Chargers in this game. No doubt about it. It'll be a good game. I think it could be sneaky good if Houston can get the lead early. It would be sneaky, but give me the Chargers.
Matt's doing those faces. What does he got to say?
Oh, come on, man. You already know who I'm picking. There ain't no question about it. I ain't got to explain why the Texans are going to win. Okay, I will explain why. Okay, who did the Texans beat last year to shock the world out of nowhere in the playoffs?
Cleveland.
It was Cleveland, right?
That was a shock?
I think it was a shock. Yeah, it was.
So you're going off of last year.
Just going off of last year because
I'll give it to you.
Rookie quarterback. No one knew anything about it. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, Cleveland was hot, especially with Joe Flacco leading the team. They were hot. Okay. So they did shock everyone. They're going to shock the world again because everyone's thinking the Chargers are hot. The Harbaugh is in. The Texans lost Diggs. They lost I'm drawing a blank. What's the other guy they lost? The other wide receiver.
Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell.
There you go. I drew a blank. They only got Nico Collins. First of all, it's going to be a surpriser. If they're going to win by a field goal, they're going to do just enough to keep it close and win by a field goal. I think it's under 42, actually. I think it's going to be like a 17-20 game.
All right, we'll see, because, again, the Chargers have a good defense, and the Texans can play with them as well. So we'll see how that goes. Now, moving on to the Prime Video, the Sunday or Saturday evening game, Pittsburgh Steelers go into Baltimore for the second time this season, third time these two meet. Tickets going as low as $100. It's to me 29 degrees and clear sky, so it's going to be frigid over there. 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. I've never seen that ratio for a quarterback in the NFL. Kudos to Lamar Jackson, even though I'm a hater of Lamar Jackson. Ravens are a 9.5-point favorite. The total points are 43.5. I'm going to take a shot at this, and I'm going to say one thing and one thing only.
What's that?
Mike Tomlin. And there's a reason why Mike Tomlin has this team 18 years in a row in the postseason. He's a good coach, a great coach. I don't see him losing back-to-back to the Ravens. Something tells me. I'm going to go on a limb and say, give me the Steelers, baby.
Wow. Ravens.
Yeah.
Ravens, because, again, I'm going to go with the trajectory that one team is entering the playoffs hot and the other has lost 4 in a row. Right now, everything looks out of sync. Now, the defense for Pittsburgh has played better over their last 2 games than the previous 2 or 3 games, or the first 2 games. Okay. The first 2 games of the 4-game losing streak, the defense was poor. Then they ramped up their defense in the last 2 games. So I'll say their defense is better. Russell Wilson, Pickens, that relationship is not syncing up at this moment. He's syncing up more with the tight end Pat Freiermuth. So I think Freiermuth will have a better game. But Baltimore's secondary is not that good. They give up way too many passing yards to good teams. So it's hard, but I'm not going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say, I don't know what Todd's smoking like Randy.
I was about to say he's smoking that Tomlin pack, but me and Randy
smoking that Tomlin pack. But give me Baltimore. They know what's at stake, and Derrick Henry went to Baltimore for the reason, and it's not to be bounced in the first round like he was with the Titans.
I hear you, Todd. I hear you, Tomlin. I hear you.
I get it.
I get it, 100%. But not with this team, man. They missing something, man. They don't have that. They not the same team that they were the first 10 games. You know, when they were, I think at one point they were 8-2 or something like that. They not that no more, man. I don't know what the heck happened. Even with Pickens last week, they were talking about he was quitting on the team against the Bengals. So I don't know, man. The Ravens are going to just, I wouldn't say they're going to destroy them because it's a divisional game, but I think the Ravens are going to pull out the win.
You're talking me out of my pick, man. I think I'm just so cocky since I won this week. So.
Hey, you got a 50-50 chance. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
You could win. Remember that year when the Broncos would they beat the Steelers? What's that preacher quarterback?
Preacher quarterback.
Brock Osweiler?
Tebow.
Tebow.
Tim
Tebow.
Oh, God. Throwback.
Yeah.
It could happen. You never know.
Well, maybe Russell Wilson will channel that inner Tebow.
You better pray.
Now let's move on to Buffalo, where we know it's going to be cold, 29 degrees, a chance of snow. Buffalo hosting Bo Nix and those surprising Broncos, who we talked about weeks ago.
Might be a good game.
We talked about this when we said, could the Broncos get into the postseason? We all gave our different opinions, thinking that, man, they got to get through these games to get to there. And they did. They finished 10-7, 4-5 on the road, but the Bills are undefeated at home, 8-0, 13-4 overall. Tickets going as low as $90. Buffalo's an 8.5-point favorite. 46.5 is your total points. I'm going to start with this one, and I like Bo Nix a lot, man, but this is where his rookie season ends. I think Buffalo obviously takes care of this house like, Under Armour used to say. I think the Bills put on, it's going to be one of those 13-10, maybe Bronco leads or Buffalo lead at halftime, and then Buffalo will put it on them late in the third quarter into the fourth.
I'm taking Josh Allen and the Bills in this game. I wouldn't be shocked if the Broncos have a good first quarter and catch Buffalo on their heels a little bit. Only because Denver had their starters play the entire game against Kansas City. Buffalo had their starters pretty much sit. Josh Allen had one snap, but he's a talent. And most of the starters sat on both sides of the ball for Buffalo in the final week against the Patriots. So I don't want to say there's going to be rust, but, it's going to take maybe a possession or two to be like, okay, we're back into that game shape type mentality. But I think Josh Allen, again, they know what the business at hand is. They have their eyes on the Chiefs in the next round or in the AFC title game. What could potentially happen if the Chargers win, and we're going to know this on Saturday, or even the Steelers, if one of those two teams win, Buffalo knows they're probably going to play the Ravens if the Chargers win and Baltimore wins. So the two teams that we think are the most likely to knock out the Chiefs are going to have battle before they even get to the Chiefs.
Yeah,
it's a battle within a battle. So they know what's at stake. Both they've been here before, and so on that case, great season, just like the Chargers. The Broncos, I think, are a year or two ahead of where a lot of people thought they're going to be. Great season, but give me the Buffalo Bills.
There's always that one upset in the playoff. I'm talking about a big upset, not 5 versus 4. I'm talking about a 7-2. We were the upset last year. This might be the team that will pull off the upset. I will say that because the Broncos are surprisingly. Broncos, Randy, I think so, and I see it too. I'm not going to pick them, but it wouldn't surprise me if Denver pulled off the upset. I'm going to pick the Bills just off of strength, but I honestly feel like the Broncos will pull off an upset.
All right. We'll see what happens. That'll move us on to a game that was played in Brazil where they said, hey, we have gangs down here. Don't wear green. Both teams showed up in green. Green Bay Packers play the Philadelphia Eagles. Packers finished the season on a whimper, finished going 11-6 in a tough division, toughest I've seen in a few years. Eagles 14-3 kind of coasted through that tough NFC East, Matt. You guys really showing up in the Giants. Commanders at least did their part. Tickets go as low as 164. Sorry, I had to. 36 degrees right there in Philly. So both teams are not this isn't foreign to either one of them. So I'll be short and sweet on this one, man. I do like what the Packers have done, but they're coming into this game very banged up. And the Eagles are just coasting, and I think they flip that switch, and I think they put it to the Packers in this one. I don't see this being a close game.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
I would have to agree with Todd in that case. I know the game in Brazil was closer, but again, first week everybody was healthy until Jordan Love got hurt in the third or fourth quarter with that knee, and they thought he'd be out for a long time, and he only missed a few weeks. But Jalen Hurts has been out 2 weeks. He had the concussion and then resting week 18. Barkley's well rested. He's healthy going into the postseason. Everything's kind of going the Eagles' way. Everybody is hyping up Jordan Love all season long. And no disrespect to the man. I think, even though he's not technically a sophomore, I feel this year he had a sophomore slump. I think he was a mediocre quarterback at best this year. The Packers will run literally and metaphorically by Josh Jacobs. No doubt about it. And the Eagles will have a plan for that on Sunday. And I know Jordan Love kind of had his thumb kind of hit. And so I don't know he's going to play. I don't know how well he can grip or do whatever. But we'll see if he can grip it and rip it. But give me the Eagles in this one. I'm going to say the Eagles beat them by at least 10. At least 10. I don't know if that's a blowout, but double digits is for the playoffs.
We see Randy picking the Packers too in the upset. Hey man, I hate the Packers, but I hate the Eagles even more. However, I think the Eagles are rolling, dude. Like, I ain't gonna lie, man. Even resting their players, they still was winning, dude. So I hate to say this. Teamer at 20. I think the Eagles is gonna win this one. Not in a blowout, though. I still give respect to the Packers, but I give it to the Eagles.
I think we'll see Mike Trout, celebrating pretty early in this game. So
I don't want to see that.
I will say it'll be a dynamic battle of two really, really, really good running backs this year.
Oh, yeah.
Easily the best two running backs in football.
Packers do when it comes to the playoff, though. Packers show up, man. They might be having a horrible season, sneak in the playoff, and then just
they did that against the Niners in the divisional round last year, where I thought we were getting bounced after a number 1 seed.
Look what they did to us last year. I still ain't forgiven them for that.
But hey, man, I think this will be a sneaky. I think it'll still be a sneaky good game. Good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, and that's another good matchup from earlier. This one I think might be the game of the week. It could be the one that no one's talking about, but they will be talking about when it's over. It's the Peacock game of the week on Sunday. It's the Commanders going into Tampa, and Tampa's 5-4 at home. Commanders were 5-3 on the road.
That's a good game.
But this is Jaden Daniels, rookie sensation. Shaky kind of defense for the Commanders. You got the Tampa Bay team that could run the ball at times. They've got dynamic play for Mayfield. The defense is kind of shaky too. This one could be a shootout, and Vegas seems to think so too. 50 points.
Yeah.
Is the total. Tampa is a 3-point favorite at home, 55 degrees and partly cloudy under the moon. Guys, I'm going to say this is going to be a fun one. I can see a 27-24, a 31-28 type game. I went back and forth on this one, but something tells me Mayfield's going to look to get sacked, but he gets out of it and throws a dime to Evans to win the game.
I really think this is going to be the funnest game of the weekend.
100%.
Easily. I think this is going to be the most fun. Jaden Daniels, a team that nobody expected to be sniffing the postseason this year or next year or whatever, but Dan Quinn did a really good job with this organization to get them back to the postseason. They're kind of a tale of two different teams. Tampa Bay kind of starts off a little slow, like last week against New Orleans. They're like, we might lose this game, and then they come on strong in the second half. Commanders are the opposite. They'll come out strong, but then kind of go in a lull in the middle of the game and late, and then kind of have one last shot, and a nice game-winning drive by Jaden Daniels as a rookie. So I think it could be very dynamic. I could see both quarterbacks throwing for 3 touchdowns apiece. Whose running game is going to get going first? I think Tampa's is a little bit stronger right now than the Commanders. The Commanders did get Austin Eckler back, so they can do, those short little check down passes, and that might give Tampa Bay some fits. Tampa Bay loves to pressure on defense. So can Jaden Daniels handle that? He could. He's had a rookie of the year kind of campaign. It's between him and Bo Nix. But give me Tampa in a close one here. Baker and the boys have kind of been there, done that, and I think they have a little more experience in this first round than the Commanders do right now.
Randy said, are we keeping score? If so, what's the tiebreaker game?
That is up to Todd.
That's up to Todd. You won this week, Todd.
Since I won, we'll call the next game the tiebreaker game.
All right.
Oh, the McVay genius game.
Yeah, the genius game.
This guy. I'm going to go opposite of you guys. I think Washington going to pull off the win in this one. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but I don't know, man. I just feel like Washington might just have that one-trick play and win on a last-second drive or something like that. So I'm going with Washington.
All right. And I hope it's like that, dude, because we could use some drama to end that Sunday night.
Randy's giving all of us, he's going with Tampa.
He's going with Tampa.
He said, as much as I like the Commanders, I don't know if the rookie is ready for a spot like this.
We'll see if
I can see that, Randy.
But okay, here's a good question though. But he thinks, Bo Nix could upset Buffalo. So which quarterback, regardless of wins and losses, which quarterback plays better, Bo Nix in Buffalo or Jaden Daniels against Tampa? Stat-wise.
I think it really depends on who their opponent is, to be honest with you.
I'd go Jaden Daniels will have a better statistical game against Tampa.
Yeah, I would think so.
I think that's kind of I don't want to say easy, but it just kind of makes sense based on Buffalo's defense versus Bucs defense.
Yeah, I think Knicks would struggle. I mean, Oregon quarterback, I know he's been in Denver this year, but having to go to Buffalo where it's super cold like that, I think it's got to affect him.
Yeah. Randy saying Bo Nix, a lot better quarterback, though, with Sean Payton at the helm.
I will say this. Sean Payton definitely showed us that he's an excellent coach compared to what happened last year with all the turmoil. When he actually got the quarterback he wanted and the team he wanted, he turned this team around.
So it's Russell Wilson's fault.
Yes. So I'll give you that, Randy. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jaden Daniels came in from the jump and was just like, yo, who was this quarterback? You know? So I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. That's a tough one.
Good talent, though, coming up the pipeline for sure.
Absolutely. So that'll move us on to the ESPN ABC Plus game, the Monday Night Football game. Tickets going as low as $76 here in SoFi. The Vikings are a 1-point favorite on the road, 47.5. They are going to outnumber the Rams fans easily in this one. You're going to probably hear some skull chants, which I love to hear the road team having that fun in SoFi. The Vikings are 14-3. The Rams are 10-7.
Who are you picking, Todd?
I'll make it short and sweet, man. I think the McVays bit off more than they could chew. And I'm with Dom that they will not forget that face mask and some of the other bullshit that they did in that game. I think the Vikings get retribution, even though it was a huge letdown. Some may say the Rams are going to win because of that letdown by the Vikings, but I think the Vikings just ramp it up, pick themselves off the floor, and they say, hey, well, let's go out and be 1-0. So give me the Vikings. And as far as total points on this one,
let's go.
I'm going to go 40. I'm going to go low, 40.
You know, in all honesty, this is going to be a very intriguing matchup because you have a lot of points going for both teams. You have Minnesota wanting retribution first and foremost. And then you have something against the Rams of dropping the 3 seed for the 4 seed because they didn't care. They were getting a home game. So that's never good to play down to an opponent or just be like, we don't care. However, though, don't tell me the Rams are not going to want a ball after hearing the Vikings head coach and the Lions head coach at midfield after the Lions won on Sunday and saying, can't wait to see us in 2 weeks. Can't wait to we're going to do this again. And the Vikings coach is like, damn right, we are going to be. It's like, that juiced up Sean McVay and this team a little bit.
His nipples were percolating. With
they were percolating a little bit in that case. I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to choose the Rams in this game because of the been there, done that mentality. Sean McVay, the genius. Again, they've gone through all this. Minnesota has been a great story this year. Sam Darnold under the spotlight. He's played great this year. But those spotlight games, he has struggled and had moments. So in the spotlight, Monday Night Football on the road, I think this could be very similar to the Monday Night Football game. I think, the Rams won, 28-20 or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say something very similar in that regard again. I'm going to say Rams, but Cooper Kupp's not playing well either. If he plays well, it's a for sure Rams win. That's where I'm confused. It's like both teams have good and really bad points. So I'm going to go Rams. Somehow they get it right. 27-23. I hate it. I really do. But if my picks end up balling out, that means the Rams would go to Detroit for a week 1 rematch. And boy, they want that after what Dan Campbell and McConnell said about, who cares about everybody else? We're going to see each other again. That something doesn't sit right in the football gods. You know how they've been this year. I'm just saying.
That's true.
All right, Randy picked the Rams. I actually could see this happening. However, I'm not going to pick against the Vikings all of a sudden. I've been picking the Vikings all year, and I'm sticking with it. Skull game. I'm with you. Teamer 20 even picks the Vikings. I'm like this. You're right, Todd. The Vikings ain't forgot about that one game where they bad calls. No calls. they're going to want that revenge, and they want to show people that they're not that team who lost to the Lions in the last game. That's not them. They've been pretty good all year. They've beaten some really good teams, and all I'm going to say is Sam Darnold is going to show y'all why he is going to be one of the top quarterbacks that people will be going after next season. He's going to give at least 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah. Temper
I was going to go 3, but I was like,
expectations.
yeah, I was going to go 3, but I was like,
trust me, I want the Vikings to win, but there's just something about the football gods. Like Todd said, they give the Rams Monday night, the last game at home. Like, there's just something. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something I just don't trust. So I hope I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Hey, Randy. I'm going to tell you this right now. We're going to clip this one. You are going to regret that you didn't have Sam Darnold all year on this game. I guarantee it. Because when he do with the Rams, you're going to be like, damn.
Sam Darnold's going to be the quarterback of the Vikings. He's getting a contract.
Oh, 100%. Because I'm telling you right now, he's about to beat the Rams. Aaron Rodgers is going to look at him like, damn, that's what I should have done to have this Jets team the way you got this Minnesota Vikings team. I'm going to tell you right now. And Randy, you're going to be eating crow. And you're going to be, I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it.
Now, Minnesota's going to sign Sam Darnold, I'm going to say, to a 2 to 3 year deal. Keep J.J. McCarthy as the backup quarterback and have him learn under Sam Darnold so they can keep that nucleus together and try to succeed moving forward. That's my thought. So sorry, Todd. I don't think he's coming to Seattle.
That's fine. I mean, again, I'd much rather take the understudy in Minnesota at this point, but we'll see.
Let's go.
So with that being said, guys, it's been a great show. Final thoughts on this? Oh, wait, real quick, Matt. How many points did you predict in that one? Because I think Dominic went with 27.
I said 27, 23, so that's 50.
Yeah, you got 50. I got 40. And then Price is Right, man. Randy did 39. So,
well, I'm going to one-up you in Price and Right. I'm going to say 42. 42, baby.
F you to the high.
Give me points. I just need points. Let's go, baby.
Oh, man.
So there we go, guys. Final thoughts on this one. It's been a fun regular season for me. I'll say that.
Regular season.
All I know is that all 4 of our teams are going undefeated in the postseason this year.
Yeah.
100%.
Let's go, baby. Team Couch. Let's
we get
go.
First, second, and third round buys.
We don't have to be mentally unstable for the next month. How does that feel?
That part, we already know our fate.
Well, no, technically the Chiefs are still in, so we're all mentally unstable.
Yeah.
Easy. Hey, we didn't have to talk about them this week. Next week, unfortunately, we have to, that sucks.
Yep. Matt, any final thoughts?
Final thought is thank you for listening in. We enjoyed the show. It was it's never the same when one of us is missing. So, Randy, we miss you, brother. We hope you get well, my man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you to fans for listening.
Yes.
Sorry we're late, but thank you.
It was worth every
It was worth it.
And everybody be safe out there with the winds and the fires.
Absolutely.
Be safe,
my window was crashing.
If you're in SoCal, we got to make it until 6 p.m. tomorrow, and then we're safe.
Yes. There you go. So, fellas, we will catch you guys, and fans, we'll catch you guys starting next week after Wild Card Weekend on Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. This time we'll be on time on 7 p.m.
That's right.
Todd Fox, Maddie Matt, Dominic, and Randy. See you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This isn't just another sports talk show. No filters, no excuses. Just sports the way it was meant to be. This is the Unfiltered Sports Podcast.